up to have a potential 6th different winner. Either that, or might be a decent chance that we're going to have a 2-time winner of this race. We have 2 defending winners. We have Stephen Colon driving the number 25, and then you also have Samet Oskin driving car number 29. Both of those drivers won the last 2 previously ran Christmas 300s back in 2020 and last year in 2021. So, one thing to note about this racetrack, since we've ran here back in 2018, is that this is arguably not just a good racetrack for great racing, but also a pretty dangerous racetrack at that, because of the fact that in the high grooves of turn 3 and 4, the danger zone, I would like to call it, there's a patch of ice in turn number 4. If one of the drivers hits the patch of ice, they're essentially along for the ride. And once you come off of turn 4 and head down the front straightaway, one of 2 things are going to happen. One, you might pancake the wall and keep the car straight and keep going, and may have to come down to pit road to pull the fenders out, so that way they're not rubbing on the tires. Or number 2, you're going to hit the wall and probably go airborne and tumble down the front straightaway and possibly take some other cars with you. So that's definitely something we're going to have to watch out for in these 40 laps of action. And I think we're about ready to get this thing started. You see there on the front row, that is the number 38 of Dylan Abrahyman and the number 15 of Joshua Johnson. And this is going to be a really fun one. I don't really know what else to say, so I might as well let the drivers do the rest of the talking with the actions that are about to happen. The drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up, but in order to get these 42 behemoths rolling out onto the racetrack, we got to get the command to fire the engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
Engines are fired, pace car is rolling off, and so are these 42 drivers. And as they roll out onto the on the racetrack for their pace lap, here's your starting lineup for the 2022 Christmas 300. Field just took one to go. We're getting ready to go green flag racing here at the Alaska Super Speedway. See there on the front row, as I mentioned before, that is the 38 of Dylan Abrahyman and the 15 of Joshua Johnson. Here they come off turn 4, pace cars off. Will we see a 6th different winner, or will we see a 2-time winner of the Christmas 300? Let's find out. The 2022 running is officially underway. They already were starting to go 3 and 4 wide as soon as they hit turn number 1. And the number 19 machine, that is Kyler Anderson, tried to take the lead, had it for a moment, and now the 31 of Bob Floyd goes to the point, and they are 4 wide as they come off of turn number 4. Very dangerous. And the 45, oh my goodness gracious, I thought he was going to have it saved. That's Ryan Durrani going around. He got plowed into the back earlier on the front straightaway, and the caution flag is already out. Also involved was the one of Dominic Facchetti, and also the number 11 of Chris Reynolds, who slammed on the brakes for a moment. Must have also hit a patch of ice when he was trying to keep his car on the apron, but also got a little bit onto the onto the banking there, and the caution has already come out for the first time. That did not take long at all, and leading them back to the caution flag was the number 09. That is Jim Vincentleff. Man, I am so sorry. It has been a long time since I've done any sort of commentary whatsoever, so it's going to take a little bit for me to kind of get back into the rhythm of things, so... This is kind of what I was talking about at the very beginning of the broadcast. Once there's a really, well, I wouldn't say really, but there's a strip of ice, black ice, on the very high high side of turn number 4. If you hit that patch of black ice, you're essentially along for the ride once you hit the front straightaway. And you'll either pancake the wall and keep it going, kind of like what Ryan Durrani almost had, except he took a couple of other cars with him, or you'll pancake the wall and almost go airborne, or go completely airborne and tumble down the front straightaway and still collect a couple of other cars as you tumble. That, man, I cannot announce. I am so sorry. It has been a long time. Long time. But anyways, the number 9 of Jim Vincent Leff, the number 09 of Jim Vincent Leff is your race leader. So why don't we go back and take a look and see what happened that caused our first caution flag here in the Christmas 300. Well, pretty much the aerial view is the best view that we're going to get here. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. A couple drivers, well, the only driver that really hit the wall was Ryan Durrani. Terry Walker and also the 38 of Dylan Aberhyman were also up in the same line as Durrani. But you see right there, the 11 of Chris Reynolds plows right into the back of the 45. Then you see the 1 of Dominic Facchetti just nail the front end of the 45 machine as they slide down the front straightaway. That is a really tough break for some of these, these 3 drivers in particular, because this is the beginning of the race. They barely even led or ran 5 laps. They didn't even run. Nobody even ran 5 laps, and we're already under caution, and 3 drivers are more than likely going to be out of this race. And man, just a tough break. This right here is from the perspective of the 45 of Ryan Durrani. You really can't react once you hit that patch of black ice, because that black ice just takes control of your car and just sends you straight into the wall. And unfortunately, I mean, that's just one of the circumstances of racing here at the Alaska Superspeedway. It's just drivers are going to get really high going through turns 3 and 4, and then they're just going to hit that black ice, and that ultimately might either end somebody's chances of winning or ultimately ruin the chances of finishing this race. And that's what's going to happen with Ryan Durrani, Dominic Facchetti, and the number 11 of Chris Reynolds. This is from the perspective of Chris Reynolds, looking straight ahead. And you're going to see a blue and red number 45 hit the wall. Just as soon as Durrani got his car straightened up, Chris Reynolds was there. Right into the path of Chris Reynolds, and that is a tough break for Chris Reynolds. Just all three of these drivers are really just innocent bystanders, and unfortunately they're not going to see the finish of this race, nor will they see the rest of the 38 laps or so that were ran under green flag conditions here in this race. Well, I believe it is the number 09 of Jim Vincent Leff who is still the race leader. So why don't we go ahead and rejoin the field for the restart here in the 2022 Christmas 300. One lap and we will be back to green flag racing on lap number 7. Well, with 6 laps complete, coming across the line this time by Jim Vincent Leff is currently your race leader. Running second is the 17 of Owen Miles. Third is the number 34. It's William Brock. Running in fourth is the 31 of Bob Floyd. Fifth is the 24 of Val Moscow. Sixth is the 97 of Nathan Stapleton. Seventh is the 21 of Reagan Whitlock. Eighth is the 20 of Colin Cropley. Ninth is Joshua Johnson, excuse me. Man, I'm butchering everybody's names. I do most sincerely apologize. Completing your top 10 is the number 14 of Zachary Fitzwater. And we did mention those 3 drivers, Ryan Durrani, Chris Reynolds, and Dominic Facchetti. All 3 of them are officially done. They all have smelled what the rock was cooking. which leaves us with 39 cars left on track. But we're most certainly far from done in this race, not just from the standpoint of racing, but the standpoint of how many precautions we may particularly have as this race goes on. Here we go. Vincent Leff leads us back down for the restart. And you're already seeing a couple other drivers jump out of line. That was Cropley, who was the first in line to jump out as soon as they hit the start-finish line. And now William Brock goes to the high side. Not exactly the best of decisions from the 34 machine. But luckily, he will tuck back in fourth, but he's got the 24 of Val Mosco to deal with. Not anymore. Mosco decides to jump right back in line. Reagan Whitlock is going to go to the inside and try to bust her way inside of the top 5. One driver almost hit the pit at the end of the pit wall. That was the 19 of Kyler Anderson. Anderson almost hit the wall. Coming off of turn number 4, the inside wall. Miles is going to take over the top position as they are still 3 wide, 2 rows deep, reaching speeds of 260 miles per hour. Brock is going to take over the top spot. Now you got the 2 DEI cars of Joshua Johnson and the number 8 machine. That is Bradley Ream going to the points, holding on to positions 1 and 2, at least in that second line. But Robinson, or Johnson, Robinson, I keep butchering that. But Joshua Johnson led that lap, not by much, over the 34. William Brock, who was second, but has fallen way outside of the top 10 in just a matter of 2 corners. Dylan Abrahyman is going to take back the top position. But they are just racing like it is the last lap. 3 and 4 wide all across the racetrack, and 2 cars hit the wall. 3 are wrecking down the front straightaway. 4, 5. My goodness, more cars are flying around. That is the 12 of Edson Hernandez, who flew way off the track. Val Mosco was involved, the 17 of Owen Miles, and the 34 of William Brock. There's one more car that was collected, and that was the 25 of Stephen Colon, our 2020 winner. And man, my goodness gracious, already a quarter of the way through this race, and more retirees. The driver that led him back to the caution flag, we're looking at him right now. That is the 10 of Cole Raymond. Raymond leads him back to the caution flag. Man, that was so much happening there within the matter of just a few short seconds there. It was I barely was able to keep up with it. That's Edson Hernandez in the number 12, who got caught up near the end. I also saw the 15 of Joshua Johnson have some damage to his race car. He is coming to pit road to get that damage assessed. Also had the 6 of Jack Ribbleton involved. The 32 machine, that was Ray Atikian. Atikian is done for the night. Not a very good Christmas present for him. And Cologne, I think he might have been taking out his frustrations there on the 12 of Edson Hernandez. Not sure where that came from, but he's done. Val Mosco is also not going to see the finish of this one. His night is officially over. Lyle Austin coming back out on track. I don't see a lot of damage to that number 18, but he should be okay to continue. My goodness. We got a decent amount to unpack here. Cole Raymond is your race leader on this caution flag. So why don't we go back and review that crash that brought out our second yellow flag of the night here in Alaska. One of the first cars that ended up going into the wall was the number 15 of Joshua Johnson. You're going to see him hit that patch of black ice. And then, bam, right into the wall. And also joining him in the background is the 34 of William Brock. And there's the 17 of Owen Miles flipping. And the 24 Val Mosco clipped him. Oh, Susie Atikian was involved in this one as well. Jim Gatton just barely got by. There's where the damage came from on the 18 of Lyle Austin. And that little nudge from the number 24 to the 12 of Edson Hernandez, that was enough to send him around. There's not a lot of grip to keep your car straight, especially in a situation like this. And that little nudge from the 32 of Ray Atikian was just enough to send the 12 of Hernandez over. And then watch this ride that Edson Hernandez takes off the track in turn number 1. And then towards the Alaska billboard sign, phases right through it. That's enough points for the X Games right over here if this was a thing, but unfortunately, this is going to be another crash that's going to take out some more contenders. Edson Hernandez, for sure, is one of them. This is riding along with Ray Atikian, who was far enough back where he could have avoided this, but had it not been for the 12 coming down into his path, probably would have been okay. He got well out of the way of that one and tried to get as far out of the way as he possibly could, but unfortunately just wasn't enough. Both the Atikians were involved in this one. That is a tough break for both Ray and Susie. Let's go on board with the 2020 winner, Stephen Colon. Stephen Colon is another guy that probably had a really good shot of avoiding this one because he was way far back from everybody else. He tries to go to the inside, but the smoke pretty much was impeding his vision, and he just didn't quite see the 34. But I can tell you, Colon was on it, just trying to get through it. Just completely was blindsided by the 34 of William Brock, who was just sitting in the middle of the racetrack and caught the left front fender of Stephen Colon's number 25. Unfortunately, this is going to end Colon's night along with William Brock's. One final onboard. Be sure to get your barf bags ready. That is the number 12 of Edson Hernandez. This is from the visor cam of Edson Hernandez. Was a decent distance back, a little bit ahead of both Colon and Atikian, the last two that we rode along with. There's just a lot of smoke, and also the 32 flying right into the back of Edson Hernandez. That was just enough to send him around and upside down, tumbling off the track and coming to rest just above turn number 1. Man, that was a really wild ride, and do apologize if some people got motion sick over that. I really don't blame you at all. But in the meantime, the number 10 of Cole Raymond is your current race leader, so why don't we go back and rejoin the field for the restart of the 2022 Christmas 300. One lap and we'll be back to green flag racing. Coming around to begin lap number 14. We got a few more retirees. Both of the Atikians, as I mentioned, are both out of the race, along with the 12 of Edson Hernandez, the 34 of William Brock, including the number 25 of Stephen Colon. So in this order, it's Val Moscow, Owen Miles, Susie Atikian, Edson Hernandez, Ray Atikian, William Brock, and Stephen Colon, all joining the other 3 drivers that wrecked out on lap number 1. Here's your top 5 results coming to the restart. Cole Raymond, the leader. Dylan Abraham in second. Will Parrish third. Ali Lira in fourth. And completing your top 5, that is the number 7 of George Silva, who we really have not talked a whole lot about here in this race. And here he is inside of the top 5, just 7 laps from halfway. Here we go. And they're already bursting out a single file and trying to get double file as quickly as they possibly can. Parrish goes to the outside, and that opens the door for Ali Lira to drive her way into 3rd place. And George Silva in the 7 is going to go with her. Into 4th. Parrish falls back to 5th. Here comes Fitzy to the inside. At least didn't have a good enough run, but the bottom is open, so he could potentially try to drive underneath. He doesn't think much about it, and he falls. He stays tucked in behind the 0 of Parrish. Abrahamson or Pulsitter leads lap number 14. But there is a lot of racing going on over here. 3 wide, Parrish to the inside of both Lira and Abrahamson, and he's going to take the top spot away. How about the 41? Frederick Mustachila? I can't, I do apologize if I butchered your name. But coming off of turn number 4, the 41, second car in line. I do believe we have a couple cars coming down pit road in the background. That's the 5. Car number 5, that is Reggie Fogelman. I believe he might have possibly cut down a tire or what. Something must have gone wrong with the number 5. But meanwhile, the 14 of Fitzy goes to the point. Here's the numbers 40 of Logan Alexander, trying to make something happen on the inside. Look at this back over here, though. They're still 3 wide, and they're pretty decently spread out. So Silva going way high. Everybody, luckily, did not hit that patch of black ice too hard. In the sense of, thank goodness, all 4 tires did not hit that black ice, and we are still clean and green, at least for the time being. Further up the front, they're still 3 wide. Reagan Whitlock in the middle. Ali Lira on the bottom. Alexander up top. They are catching the 5 of Fogelman. Oh, boy. Let's see where this is going to go. They come off of 4. They catch Fogelman. Where are they going to go? Are they going to split him 4 wide? Fogelman's going to block the bottom and also the top in some fashion. But Reggie Fogelman doing everything he possibly can to try to stay out of the leader's way. How about Logan McKenna in the 77? Coming out of nowhere, inside of the top 5 and to the lead as we're closing in on halfway. Reagan Whitlock, oh my goodness. Whitlock almost came close to hitting that turn number 4 wall. Almost drifted way off the track and hit the wall, that is. But we're still clean and green. Whitlock is going to lose a lot of positions, and she's going to fall towards the mid-tail end of the field. Everybody is just racing like it is the last lap. Oh, my goodness. Look at Terry Walker in the 48. 3 wide for second. 2 birds with 1 stone. Can he get 3 birds with 1 rock as they come off turn 4? Silva in the wall, and Dylan Abrahamson is flipping. Bob Floyd hits the wall, and Colin Cropley is collected. Caution is out at the halfway point of this race. And guess who? Cole Raymond leads them back to the yellow flag. That's some pretty good racing going on there for at least for a couple handful of laps, but it was so good for it could only be good for so long. It just turned to so bad so quickly. But Dylan Abrahamson, yet another driver who has flipped, coming off of turn number 4, then pancaking the wall. Yet another one who has done that. Colin Cropley, heavy right side damage to his Home Depot Chevy. He's going to have to get that damage assessed, but he will be able to continue, most likely. I believe the same case for the 31 of Bob Floyd. We're just going to have to wait and see. They're going to have to do a lot of fender work and also right rear quarter panel work on that 31. You see the 07 of Bradley Bradshaw on pit road, along with Jack Ribbleton. Parrish, oh man, there must have been pit stops that have been taking place. Some chose to come in, some chose to stay out. Very interesting strategy some of these drivers took. I see Stapleton came onto pit road. Ali Lira, man, they're slipping and sliding and trying to get back up on track. Rippleton, Bradshaw, Parrish, Logan Alexander, Kyler Anderson. There's a good chunk of drivers that decided to come on to pit road, and some of them came on for obvious reasons, one of them being Dylan Abrahamson, who is not going to see the finish of this 2022 Christmas 300. But Cole Raymond once again is your leader, coming back to our third yellow flag. Let's take a look and see what happened that caused it. This is going to be focusing in on Dylan Abrahamson. Even though one of the first cars to hit the wall was the 7 of George Da Silva, but Dylan Abrahamson followed and then started flipping off of turn 4. Bob Floyd gets hit by the 7 of Da Silva, and then you see Colin Cropley trying to get on the brakes, trying to avoid, just clips the 7 on the right front with his right front fender. But luckily, also in the case of the 38 of Abrahamson, fortunately, he was able to come back down on all 4 tires, and he was able to drive it away, amazingly enough. But, man, it's just a couple more cars that are just going to be going behind the wall, and some may be able to continue, but just way off the pace compared to everybody else. This is focusing in on Dylan Abrahamson, his point of view of the flip. Whoops. And then you just barely see on the bottom of your screen Cropley just tagging Da Silva's car with the right front fender. It's still amazing of how that 38 was able to drive away from the incident and take his car straight to the garage area. That is just, it is a tough break, however, because Dylan Abrahamson had himself a really good car. I mean, he sat on the pole at the very start of this race, led a couple laps, fell a little bit back, and fell back towards the back of the field, and that is one of the misfortunes of being in the back, his potential danger of getting caught up in wrecks like that. This is from Dylan Abrahamson's perspective. This hits that patch of black ice, and he just went along for the ride from there. Once again, another case of hopefully you kept your barf bag on you. But nonetheless, Dylan Abrahamson is going to be done for the night and will be out of the Christmas 300. Not sure about anybody else, though, that was involved in that incident, but we'll just have to wait and see once we get back to the restart. Here for the 2022 Christmas 300, Cole Raymond is your leader. 1 to go, and we will be back to green flag racing, and we are already going to have our first lap car on the inside with the 5 of Reggie Fogelman. He doesn't have a lot of damage to his car, little to no damage really on his number 5 machine, so luckily his speed will be able to match everybody else's, but he is still going to be 1 lap down, however. Running in the lead is the number 10 of Cole Raymond. Running second is the number 01 of Alex Bonsignor, another driver we haven't really talked about in this race. And here he is inside of the top 5. Joining him is the number 4 of Corey Raymond, another driver we haven't talked a lot about. Running fourth is the 9 of Casey Wells. Completed the top 5 is the 77 of Logan McKenna. Then it's Wyatt Walker, Fitzwater, the number 43 machine. That is Trey Smith. Jim Vincent left in the 09, and Jim Ganton completes the top 10. Here we go. Back through the gears once again. And to talk about a few other drivers that did go behind the wall, I believe joining them was the number 31 of Bob Floyd. 20 of Colin Cropley is still on the racetrack, just on the tail end of the lead lap. But he might be, most likely, maybe a back marker coming into this one. Well, maybe in another 10 laps or so. We're just going to have to wait and see. Walker going way high through turns 3 and 4, trying to put the block on the 09. And that almost made the 09 of Jim Vincent lift pay the price. Luckily, he was able to keep the car straight, and he is still going clean and green. Raymond led that last lap. Here comes the 43 of Trey Smith. Going to try to lead this lap. Terry Walker is back in the mix, trying to make it 3 wide as they go back into turn number 3. Corey Raymond in the 4 is stuck in the middle. Well, some of these drivers are really flirting with that ice lane. They're really flirting with that ice lane. Jim Ganton just had a really fantastic save there coming off of turn number 4. I thought he was going to hit the wall, but he didn't, and we're still going. 48, Terry Walker is going to have a challenge, and that is the number 16 of Pat O'Rule. We have not talked about Pat O'Rule at all in this race, and here he is moving up inside of second place, going to try to challenge for the lead in that National Guard Ford. It'll be 14 laps to go when they come across the stripe, this time by another car into the wall and upside down. That is the 9 of Casey Wells. Just barely caught another car, and just like that, we are back under caution. And this caution is a pretty big break for somebody like Colin Cropley and also Will Parrish, who had fallen way off the pace you just saw there. And they're going to be able to move their way up just a couple more positions. Maybe a few more, rather. But Casey Wells in the 09. That is a tough break. Just wasn't so fortunate going through that ice lane and just hit that patch of black ice and just slid way off into the wall. And yet again, another driver that is flipped, hit after hitting the wall coming off of turn number 4. And Terry Walker led them back to the caution flag, and we're going to be restarting inside of 10 laps to go. That is our 4th caution flag here in the Christmas 300. This is the most that we've had in a while. I think since 2018. This is the most that we've had in that amount of time. Well, in a while rather. But nonetheless, Terry Walker is your race leader. So why don't we go back and take a look and see what happened that caused yellow flag number 4 here in the 2022 Christmas 300. Casey Wells was one of 4 that was way up in that danger zone, up on that high side in turn number 4. You're going to see it. She's going to hit that patch of black ice. Fitzy was fortunate enough to miss the wall, but Casey Wells was not. Hits the wall, goes airborne, just barely catches the 22 of Jim Gatton, giving him a little buckle on the hood, but I don't see any further damage on that 22. So he's going to be all right to see the finish of this one, should nothing else happen. But that is just a tough break for the number 9 of Casey Wells. Was running really well, just trying her best to stay out of trouble. And unfortunately, here with just about 14 laps to go, she was the trouble that brought out the 4th yellow flag of this race. This is riding along with Jim Gatton. How he managed to get through this with minimal damage, I'll never know. But just that has just gotta make your heart skip a beat, perhaps maybe 2. When you see a flipping car just go right in on top of your hood and possibly your windshield at that. Shades of Bubba Wallace and Joey Logano last year at Talladega. Man, that is just unbelievable of how Gatton is still able to keep going in this race with just the amount of damage that he has. A small buckle on the hood, no problem at all for the number 22 of Jim Gatton. In the meantime, the number 48 of Terry Walker is your race leader. Why don't we go ahead and rejoin the field for the restart in the 2022 Christmas 300, just inside of 10 laps to go. They will restart with 10 laps to go. Right on the dot, 10 laps to go. Number 9, Casey Wells, unfortunately, is going to take her car back behind the wall. She will join Bob Floyd, Dylan Apperheiman, and others back behind the wall. So we have 27 cars left on track. 26 of them are left on the lead lap. And since we're going to be restarting inside of 10 to go, there'll be no lap down cars lining up on the inside. Top 10 coming back to the restart. Terry Walker, the leader. Pat O'Rule, second. Logan McKenna, third. Corey Raymond in fourth. Cole Raymond inside of the top 5 in 5th. Then it's Bradley Bradshaw, 6th. Allie Lira, 7th. The number 42 of CG Holt shows up inside of the top 10. He's in 8th. 9th, the 19 of Kyler Anderson, and Jim Vincent Leff completes the top 10 as we restart with 10 to go. Already double file. Top 2 single file. Corey Raymond. Sorry, got him a little bit confused there for a brief moment. Corey Raymond moves up into 3rd place. Bradley Bradshaw looks low. Cole Raymond in the 10 going to try to go 3 wide for 5th place. Halt in the number 42. Moving to the inside. Trying to knock on the door of the top 5. He's going to have it for the moment. 9 to go this time. Pat O'Rule leads it. If that was a practice for the finish, O'Rule would have won it just by 6/100ths of a second. But now Cole Raymond in the number 4 goes to the point. 19, Kyler Anderson. How about the 99 of Wyatt Walker? We have not talked about Wyatt at all in this race. And now here he is out of nowhere challenging Gekka Holden. The 88 is also up inside of the top 10. She's in the middle though. Oh, but also potentially... Oh, man, you saw that number 4. They are 5 wide on the front straightaway. 5 abreast for that brief moment. How did they get out of that? I will never know. That was super impressive. And Terry's son, Wyatt, is out in front. But here's the problem. He has got a huge gap between himself and the rest of the other cars in this pack, and they are going to catch him in a hurry. Trey Smith in the number 43 moves into the 2nd position. Pat O'Rule almost scrapes the wall coming off of turn number 4. He keeps the car straight, but he's got to check up, and he basically almost got ran into by the number 29 of Sam Oskin. Walker continuing to hold on to the top position for the moment. They are racing really hard back there. Jim Vincent Leff moves up and trying to move up into 3rd place. He's going to have the spot. Trying to get by Gekka Halt. How about the 01 of Alex Bonsinger way up there in that outside? He might try to see if he can get underneath the 88 to get a position on her. Vincent Leff to the inside of the 99 of Wyatt Walker with a little bit of help from Ali Lira. Vincent Leff to the point. Lira in that number 2 machine trying to get her first Christmas 300 win. That car that she's driving right now won this race 3 years ago under fuel strategy. That was with Cody Smart back behind the wheel, trying to get the 2nd Christmas 300. It's 2nd Christmas 300 rather, with Allie trying to get her first. 5 to go. They are 3 wide, almost 4 wide. They are 4 wide back there with Gekka Halt, the 41. I can't even say the name because I'm afraid I'm going to keep butchering it constantly. I should have practiced these names, so I do apologize for that. But Lyra continuing to hold on. Not sure if she's going to be able to hold on for much longer. Here comes Zachary Fitzwater to the inside. Vincent Leff almost hit the wall coming off of turn number 4. 4 laps of racing to go. You also have the 07 of Bradley Bradshaw. Moving in to try to take the top spot away from Zachary Fitzwater. No help whatsoever. And he's going to get it, but hang on. Fitzwater saying not so fast. You want the lead, you're going to have to prove it. And Bradshaw pretty easily just proved it going into turn number 3. But now here comes Cole Raymond. Yeah, Cole Raymond in the number 10. And I believe Reagan Whitlock just hit the wall in that number 21. Might have just scraped the wall. I'm not 100% sure from that perspective. But Cole Raymond in that number 10 goes back to the point. He has been up front throughout most of this race, especially leading at the caution flag. But now you got Logan McKenna to the inside to worry about in that number 77. 3 wide for 3rd place. Nathan Stapleton in the middle. And Terry Walker trying to get back to the front to try to win this race. 2 laps of racing to go here at the Alaska Super Speedway. McKenna has it. Terry Walker wants it. CG Holt in the number 42. I keep butchering your name, CG. I do apologize. Man, I'm just in the mood right now. I am just in this I don't know. I don't even know. Lap and a half to go. Terry Walker is going to have the lead. CG goes to the inside. He's going to have the position coming off of turn number 4, facing the white flag. One more lap of racing to go in the Christmas 300. CG has it. Will he be leading coming back to the checkered flag? Let's find out. That answer is going to be no. Sam Oskin is up here. He's trying to win his second Christmas 300. Trying to make history. He's in the middle. Bradley Ream is out front. Logan Alexander way down on the inside. Gekka Holt right behind him. And Wyatt Walker in the 99 is there to challenge. Here comes the 40 of Logan Alexander underneath. Coming off of 4 for one last time. No other challenge. And Logan Alexander gets it done and wins the 2022 Christmas 300. 6 different winners. Oh, 6 different winners in this race. You saw the couple down there, Gekka Holt and Wyatt Walker. They were down on the inside working together, and it almost paid off. Almost. If Gekka had a little bit of a better run going through 3 and 4, she might have had a chance to get to the door of the 40. But it just wasn't enough, and Gekka's going to have to settle for 3rd place. But how about that finish there? Logan Alexander becomes the 2022 Christmas 300 winner. Not only that, he is the 6th different winner, as I've mentioned before. Man, I'm going to need a drink of water after this. My goodness gracious. Well, man, what a race. What a race here at the Alaska Superspeedway. For the 6th year in a row, we have a different winner. And it's Logan Alexander, driving the number 40 machine to victory lane. Finishing 2nd will be the number 8 of Bradley Ream. 3rd, Gekka Holt. 4th, Wyatt Walker. 5th, CG Holt. Not a bad day for the 88, 99, 42 bunch right there. They all finish inside of the top 5. Sam Oskin finishes in 6th. Nathan Stapleton 7th. Trey Smith 8th. Jim Vincent Liv 9th. And Ali Lira completes the top 10. You take a look at the rest of your results. Scrolling on the left-hand side of your screen. Oh, man. I'm going to need a breather right there. That was just amazing racing right there. But as I mentioned, I'm going to keep saying it over and over, and hopefully this is the last time, man. But 2017, it was Jeremy Jones. That was when we raced at Daytona on the snow and the ice. 2018, I believe that was the 64 machine. Why don't I go back and take a quick look at that? I feel like that was Barry Stremme, but I don't know until I take a look. Yes, indeed. It was 2018 was the number 64 of Barry Stremme. That was when we drove the Busch Grand National cars here at the time. 2019, it was Cody Smart. 2020, Stephen Colon. Last year, Sam Oskin. Now this year, it's Logan Alexander taking the dub right here at the Alaska Superspeedway in the 2022 Christmas 300. That was just absolutely unbelievable racing. And that was the last NR race on this channel for this year. Going into 2023, we've definitely got plenty ready to go for you guys next year. Not just with the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series, but also other special events going into 2023. It's going to be wild, man. I'm definitely looking forward to getting this stuff underway for next year. I'm ready for 2023 at this point, and I hope you guys are as well. Want to thank you guys a lot for watching. If you guys like this, be sure to give it a like, and if you haven't considered subscribing yet, recommend you do so, and to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. Excuse me. One more time, congratulations to Logan Alexander on getting the race win right here at the Alaska Superspeedway on the 2022 Christmas 300. Have a Merry Christmas, have a safe holidays, and a Happy New Year, and have a good night, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
No.